talking about hair and skin. So before I go on, I'll share, I just want to read out this passage of scripture. Follow me, follow the screen, and let's just go together. It's Matthew chapter 10 and verse 29 to 31. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? Yet not one of them will fall to the ground outside your Father's care. So are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? That's just to tell us how cheap sparrows could be, as you can actually buy them. I mean, this was over 2,000 or nearly 2,000 years ago, but even till now, how much will you have to pay for a sparrow if you need to pay for a sparrow? Not so much. And the Bible is telling us, yet not one of them will fall to the ground outside of your Father's care, meaning that the Lord cares for even the sparrows that seem very insignificant. And verse 30 says, and even the very hairs of your head are all numbered. He knows everything. So when I brush my hair in the morning, when I comb it, everything that falls out, every strand that falls out, you mean he knows about it? That is amazing. That is amazing. And verse 31 is saying to us, so don't be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows. And that's so comforting. To me, it is very comforting. And I pray that it is to you as well. And to remind you that you are worth a lot. You are worth much in the eyes of our Lord. You are worth so much. If each strand of your head, each strand of hair on your head, each one is significant. Now imagine the whole of you. You matter. You are significant. The Lord's intent for us, the Lord's intent for you is to thrive. And tonight, I'm reminding you again, your hair, it matters. Your skin, it matters to the Lord. So I'm going to progress and I will introduce Malinda. But before I do, I want to tell you some key things about Malinda. And even though I don't know Malinda on a, very close personal level, I know her to an extent. At least I know her in terms of the services that she provides and the number of times that, I've had to rub minds with her. So just listen. The number one thing, what I love about Malinda is her expertise. Malinda is, I can tell you this, the best for my hair when it comes to handling my natural hair. So right now I have braids. What do you call this? Single plaits. I have single plait on right now. I don't mind anybody doing my single plait. I have like 2 or 3 people who do my single plait. When I take this single plait off and I need my hair handled, the person I love to go to and I will go to over and over is Malinda. And that is because of her expertise. She knows what she's doing. I remember, was it the last time I was there, or maybe the other time before the last time I was with her? And I was just explaining to her, my hair texture, it's so difficult. Actually, a lovely sister of mine, 2 sisters of mine introduced me to Malinda. They took me to her when they saw the hair horror I was going through. And, I just had dental and I cut my hair off because I just wanted to go natural. It was difficult for me because I was in America. I cut my hair here. I traveled, and even there I couldn't. And I had my friend over there had her hair natural, and it was easy for her. And I thought my hair could be like that. I was joking. My hair could not be like that. My hair is nothing like, a lot of Black people think that every Black person will have the same hair texture, the same hair type. No way. My hair, I think most people have like type 4 hair. Some people will say, oh, my type 4 hair is so coarse, it's so this, it's so that. I think my hair is type 7. It's so hard to manage. It's so difficult. Yet, when I go to Malinda, you know, when you're on the day, I'm going to the salon and I see my hair and I'm thinking, wow, how am I going to manage this hair? You go there, this happens all the time. I go to her, I sit down, she does her miracle on my head, and then my hair comes out sleek after the whole thing. It's amazing. It's amazing. So number one is expertise. Definitely expertise. She knows what she's doing. She studied in college. She had a degree in hair, management, blah, blah, blah. And then she went to do her master's. That just tells you about passion. And this leads me to the next point, which is excellence. She is excellent. She is excellent when it comes to what she does. Anything she does, she's excellent. The way she presents herself, she presents her business. Malinda is excellent. She's excellent. So that's number two thing I love about her. And still talking about excellence, even just walking into her space, walking into her, her wherever she presents her business. Just walking into that complex, right from the front door to, the reception area, everything just speaks excellence. So I love that about her. Number three, now I don't go to salons a lot, and I don't go to salons because I don't like to sit for long doing my hair. I don't like it. And I know this will be the same for many people as well. The other thing I don't like to go to salon, the other reason I don't like to go to salon is chit chat. I don't like when people just talk about things that's not their business. And you will agree with me that many times salons are known. I mean, we've watched American movies. We know about how it is in Africa. We know how it is in Asia. There are a lot of the time, salons are known for gossip. Salons are known for rumors. Now, the third thing I like about Malinda is Malinda will not go on, she won't even entertain the gossip, let alone now be the one to, be the perpetuator of gossip. So that's number three. No gossip, no rumors. Number four, whether you like it or not, as you sit there, your hair's getting done, Malinda is giving you tips. I never knew what a trichology is. I never knew what that was. Malinda is giving you tips relating, how your hair is linked to your skin, how this and that. Things that, they might be everyday things you see, but you never linked it together. Malinda will tell you. Healthy learning will be going on as you're getting. Isn't that a lot better than being in an environment of gossip and rumors? It's a lot better. A lot better. Now, number five, the reason I love to go to Malinda, that I'd rather go to Malinda than, go somewhere else. Number five, her respect for time. Now, I don't think I've ever spent more than 2 hours do whatever the hair is, whether it's weave or crochet or, perm or straightening or anything at all. I don't think I've ever spent more than 2 hours. Malinda will tell you, I'll book you for this slot and you have to stick to that slot. If you like it, if you get there later than possible, it means that you won't be angry when the next person arrives because she has booked her time. That she's that organized. She's that organized. She has respect for her time and she has respect for my time too. And she expects you to respect her time. These are things that I love and I love and I love about Malinda. So I am excited. I am happy to introduce to you people my lovely sister, Malinda. She's a hairstylist. She's a trichologist. She's a nutrition advisor. She's a skin therapist. She is passionate about obtaining healthy, purposeful, and joyous life by caring for the whole you. So welcome with me. If you can unmute yourself and let us give a good clap as we welcome Malinda to talk to us for the next half an hour or so. Come on, people.
Thank you very, very much for that introduction. You're right. I did not expect that. I did not expect that at all. So thank you so much for,
welcome.
It's a very nice introduction, and you have put me on a pedestal now. So I have to live up to standard. So as you guys probably have gathered, I'm a trichologist. I'm a hairstylist first. And my interest in hairstyling actually pegged up a little bit when I had the desire to help people with suffering with hair issues. More importantly, Afro-Caribbean women losing hair from all kind of angles of the hair. And also the struggle we have with textured hair. And in fact, we do have struggle with all types of hair. Everybody has their own experiences. And so that made me move onto trichology. And whilst I was doing trichology, I realized how the hair and the skin is connected in so many ways. And a lot of the treatments that you would offer for hair issues overlaps with treatments that you would offer for skin issues. In a minute, I'll go a little bit into the anatomy and physiology of skin and hair, so you can actually see where the crossover is and how taking care of the other can benefit the other. And it's not just hair, it's literally your hair, your skin, and your nails. So those three things actually go together and they form one system in the human body. So if you're taking care of that, that would literally work together. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to try and share my screen, which might have to, here we go. Can you guys see?
Yes.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
So I'm going to try and get everything in within about 15 to 20 minutes. It might actually come to you a little bit as too much information, but it's easy to digest if you take it from which area that hits home to you more, and then you can expand from there. But the idea really is to go through that and get a little bit more questions through. And in the later future, if you think that you want to get some more information, I'm happy to share my contact details and you can always reach me, because I know time is of importance here, but the most important thing is to gather some information that we can take with us and we can explore as much as we can. Okay, so hair and skin is a reflection of our health and our beauty. And I would go more to explain that. I'll go a bit more into details for that. The reason why it's our health and our beauty is because health. Okay.
Like, put it somewhere.
What happened?
Okay,
Go ahead.
I'm
Yeah,
going.
they're dry, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Just put it on there.
I think one of our ladies need to mute yourself if there's noise in the background.
Oh,
thank you.
That's all right. Great. So our health is quite important, but the interesting thing is our hair and our skin can be a mirror. It can be like a barometer or a measure for our health. And how we can know that is the skin and the hair always tells you what is going on inside. And that is where it's a reflection of your health. And of course, if you're feeling healthy, you look beautiful, because beauty comes from within. So that is one aspect. For today, what we're going to cover on, we're going to talk about what hair and skin is, structure and composition and importance of skin, the different types of skin and hair, caring for the hair and the skin, different styling and treatment procedures. We'll speak a little bit about the some common issues we have with hair and skin issues and disorders, and then a little tips and advice for you to take home, and just a little conclusion. Then I'll open up for questions. Yeah. So, as you know, the human body, I'm sure most of you do know this, that we're made of cells, and it's about 30 trillion cells. That's quite a lot, and that is why I have put on top there God's masterpiece, because we created in his own image, but how it all works together is like a masterpiece. And they all work together in harmony, in love, and in God's wisdom. The intrinsic wisdom of the cells is from God. And they all do that together to maintain life. Now, that is the whole body as a whole. Every doctor, with all the doctors we have in different branches and different healthcare, they would all tell you how the human body works together in synergy. When it comes to skin and hair, yes, skin and hair is made from cells as well. And these cells also depend on all the other parts of the body, i.e. all the other cells in the body, for it to be able to work effectively. Now, why am I saying this? Because as we go along, you would see why it's important for you to take care of what is inside, because that is what is going to reflect in outside. And the outside is the skin and the hair. But because the skin and the hair are cells, you need to start your work from inside, and it's also best when you work from in and out. That is my philosophy. It's not just about just taking your external care, you have to take care of your inside as well. Because what you're seeing outside, it could just be skin, but guess what? Skin is dead cells. And they were once upon a time alive within us before they became cells. So is hair. Hair is dead cells. So once upon a time, it was cells was alive within us, and before they became dead. Okay? So just like what I was just saying, skin is one of the largest organs that covers our human body. Hair is dead cells, and it's dead cells made from protein, which grows from what we call the follicle. Now, once the hair comes out of the follicle, it becomes a hair shaft, and that's what we see with our physical eyes. Underneath your skin is your follicle, and that is where the cells are alive. Once the cells come out on top of your skin, they become dead fibers or dead cells, and that is what we call hair or hair shaft. Now, when it comes to skin, we have 3 layers of the skin. We have the epidermis, the dermis, and the hypodermis. Now, the epidermis is what we see with our physical eyes. And the topmost layer of the epidermis is dead cells. It's also dead cells. Underneath it, as you go a bit lower, you go down, 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 and then you go down to your bones. But before you go to the bone, what protects the whole body is what we call skin. And skin is made of 3 layers. It protects us from physical injury. It protects us from microorganisms or pathogens that you see. It protects us from the environment, like dust, sun. In fact, sun it has to be protected in a certain way, but it's also good for us, because if you go down a bit, you can see that I've written that it does metabolize vitamin D, because the skin has a unique feature of breaking down vitamin D with a coenzyme to produce, breaking down sun rays to produce vitamin D in our skin, which is also important. But the body knows what it's doing. As long as you are taking care of the body, it will do the purpose it's meant to do. What God has created the skin, the body to do, it will do that. When it comes to hair, hair is also divided into 3. Now, I would go more into details with pictures so you can see, because as I'm talking about the tips and the hair care, it will probably be relevant again to know what part of the hair or what part of the skin I'm talking about. So with the hair, there's 3 layers to the hair. We have the cuticle, which is the outermost layer. We have the cortex, which is the middle layer. And we have the medulla, which is right in the center of the hair. And then the hair itself has a purpose. It protects us from extra heat. It protects us from dust and bacteria. And it's also there to serve a social purpose. So most of us know when your hair looks good, you feel good. So that's the social purpose aspect. Now, if you look at what hair and skin is made of, there's a lot of similarity. In fact, it's almost the same. Most of the content of hair and skin is water. And I'm sure most of you have heard before how important it is to drink water, because we're made about, I don't want to get this wrong, but I think we're made of about 60 or 80% water. I might be wrong, don't quote me on this, but majority of our body is made from water. Majority of hair and skin is water. The next thing would be protein, which is also known as keratin or amino acid. We get that from our food. The third thing would be lipids, which is fats. We get that from our food. And then there's other minor, tiny things that make up hair. And these ones are minerals and traces of elements. And they actually act as coenzymes. So they act as supporters for the main ingredients that make up a healthy hair or a healthy skin. And some of these little minerals and elements are iron, magnesium, zinc, copper, lead. It goes on and on and on. But then again, the body has its own way of obtaining this. If you feed your body with the right food, the human system has its own way of deriving that from your food to the different aspects of your body that is needed. However, if you're falling short in these areas, your hair and your skin will show it. And it's, like I said from the beginning, it's always the first sign to tell you if there's something deficient in your system. And that is the magic of hair and skin. But more importantly, it's God's masterpiece. Okay, so I'm just going to talk a bit more about the skin. So as you can see, this is the structure of the skin. This is like a little biopsy cross-section of the skin taken from any part of the body. But the layers I was talking to you about, this is the epidermis, which is the top layer we see with our eyes. This is the dermis. Inside the dermis, you can see the hair shaft. This is what I was telling you about. I'll go back again, sorry. You can see the hair shaft there. This is hair growing from the root. The second layer is the dermis. So the dermis is where the hair follicle stays. And if you go a bit deeper, it goes into the hypodermis. The hypodermis is also called the subcutaneous tissue. And that is where there's blood and there is fat. So you can see the blue and the red are blood vessels, blood capillaries. And these blood capillaries come all the way here to feed the hair bulb. If you see, they come all the way there to feed the hair bulb. So that is how hair is formed. It's actually these blood cells coming all the way into the bulb to feed the hair, and then the hair grows out, and then you can physically see with your eyes hair shafts. Now, when it comes to skin, it's quite similar. This is the dermis, which you can see here as well. Now, all this section is the epidermis. Epidermis is very, very thin, but when we enlarge it, we can see the different layers of the epidermis. As you can see, the epidermis also has about 5 different layers. We have the basale, spinosum, granulosum, lucidium, and corneum. Forget about all this. They have a special role they play. But for today, we want to concentrate on the stratumum corneum, which is what we see with our physical eye. Now, these cells, as you can see, when they are younger, they are live. And as they're coming up older, they come all the way to the top of the skin and they shed off. Therefore, we lose skin every 4 to 6 weeks. The rate at which you lose skin depends on your age, your metabolism, your lifestyle. There's so many factors that comes into play as to how quick you're losing the skin. But the interesting thing is, If you're losing the skin at a very good rate, your skin will always look nice and glowy and shiny because you're always letting the new fresh one come in. And that's why we want to concentrate on this when it comes to taking care of the hair. We leave the rest to the doctors and the specialists to do what they have to do. But for us, what we can take care of here, physically in terms of cosmetics, is we can take care of what we see with our eyes. Of course, there are some products that can actually travel down here into the dermis. And if you look at these gaps in between the different stratumums, you can see gaps in between there. Now, between the gaps, what is there? It's like concrete, but what that concrete is made from is lipids, which is fats. So if anybody tells you fat is not good for you, they lied. Fat is good for you, but you have to know the good fat and the bad fats. Because without the good fat, whatever you're putting into your body, it's not going to play the role here properly. So you might as well not have eaten it at all. But if you're going to eat good fat, and this fat is what holds these little life cells together. And as they're going through the process of what we call keratinization, or the process of the young growing old and dying off, which is keratinization, whilst they're going through that, they have to be in very good condition. So what you see with your eyes will be nice looking hair. Now, that nice looking skin, that is skin now. If we move next to hair, before we go to hair, I want you to understand, same way the skin goes through a cycle, the hair also goes through a cycle. As this hair is growing from the roots down to the skin, it goes through 3 stages, and the 3 stages are the growing phase, the resting phase, and the fallout phase. The growing phase is usually between 5 to 8 years. It depends on your genes, it depends on your lifestyle, it depends on the individual, because we all have different genes and we all have different lifestyles. But on average, it's between 5 to 8 years where your hair continuously grows. Once it finishes growing to the end of the cycle, what happens next is the hair goes into a resting stage and then it falls out. Before your hair falls out, there's a new hair coming through from the bottom. That's why you're never bald. But the interesting thing is, at every point in time, there's about 80% of your hair, 80 to about 90, depending on the individual, percent of your hair in the growing phase. So what you see with your physical eyes is the hair that is in the growing phase. There's a very small percentage of the hair in the resting phase as well. And then the rest of them are in the falling out phase. That is why when you brush your hair, you see hair falling out. It doesn't mean that you're going bald. It means those hair have come to the end of the cycle. They need to come out so the new ones will come through. Okay, the hair you see coming out is usually between 50 to 100 a day. So if we braid our hair, or you put your hair in a bun, or you put your hair in a weave for a long time, remember, you're not brushing your hair. So those hair that have come to the end of their cycle that is meant to fall out every day are not falling out because they're actually in a weave. So they're not falling out yet. If you take your weave out and you start brushing, if you take your braids out, or if you go for a day or two, your hair is in a bun and you haven't brushed it. If you take your bun out and you take it off, you see more hair coming. Now, it's only worrying if the hair is excessive. If it's more than what you normally see, then it becomes something that you need to look into. But in the meantime, if you see the odd hair here and there, if you're not sure about it, just pick up the hair, feel the hair at the strand all the way to the hair bulb. If you feel a little dead knot at the end of the hair, that means that hair is come to the end of the cycle. It's ready to fall out. If you don't get any bulb at the end, then it's very likely your hair is breaking halfway, which would be a cosmetic issue. But if you feel the strand, it's interesting actually. If you take the hair bulb, if you take the hair strand and you run your fingers all the way to one end of it, you can actually feel the hair bulb there. If you don't feel it on the right side, try it on the left side. You would feel the hair bulb there. That is hair that is come to the end of the cycle. It has to fall out. Okay, now, so that is the 2 cycles of hair and skin, and they go through that renewal every day, and that is life. They are new every morning. They keep going, and that is how you see if your hair is healthy. That's how it's a measure of your health. That's how it's a measure of what you're putting in and what you're putting on. When it comes to hair also has 3 layers, as I said to you earlier. So we have, how am I doing on time? Okay, so we have the middle, which is the medulla, the cortex, which is the center, and then we have the cuticle, which is the outer bit. Now, if you look at the hair shaft, this is the hair shaft under a microscope. As you can see, it looks like fish scaling. Some people say it looks like a roof ceiling, but it's not really one continuous strand. It's just sharp layers and layers of hair that come together to form what we call hair. And this is it. Now that is what we call the cuticle, and that is the protective layer. Just like how your skin has a protective layer, your hair has a protective layer too. Now bear in mind about the protective layer, because that word protection is very, very important. What is it protecting? It's protecting what is important to you, which is your hair and your skin. So if there is any kind of distraction or disturbance with that protective layer, it then affects the whole thing. With hair, most of the strength of your hair in terms of your elasticity, your porosity, comes from the middle here, which is the cortex. As you can see, it provides strength, it gives moisture, it gives color, and it gives texture. And so if all the strength is in the middle, then it has to be protected. And guess what protects it? The cuticle. So the cuticle has a purpose, and the same with the skin as well. All this is protected, or let's say all this, which is the dermis and the hypodermis or the subcutaneous tissue, is all protected by the epidermis. Because interestingly, in the dermis here, guess what is here? Elasticity and collagen. Elasticity and collagen is what makes us look young. If you lose elasticity, you have wrinkles. If you lose collagen, you lose the form of your skin. It starts to look a bit dull and it starts to wrinkle. And that is where it's found. It's actually found in the dermis. Right. Therefore, this epidermis needs to stay intact to protect the rest of it. If the dermis, which is this one here, is not strong enough, then it's going to start affecting that. There are other factors that can affect it anyway, but for now, we'll just leave it as it is, so we don't get too much carried away. We just talk about the different hair types, the different hair and skin types, and then I'll talk a little bit more about how to care for it and a little advice. So when it comes to skin type, this is a typical scale that has been used in the dermatology industry for a long time. Everybody would fall within one of these 6 types or in between. Now, it's quite relevant when it comes to how you can absorb the ultraviolet heat, the ultraviolet ray. And it's really important because that is how you would know what kind of treatments would work for you. And that helps. So we will come to that in a bit. Another way to look at skin types is when it comes to our face. I'm sure everyone can relate, or everyone would fall into one of these. Dry skin, normal skin, combination skin, and oily skin. Now, when it comes to dry skin, it's different from dehydration. I'll talk a little bit more about that. This is a type of skin. This is what you're born with. All this here is determined by your genes. There's nothing that you can do to change it. You can actually live with it by taking care of it or supporting it. but you can't change it to the core, because that is like trying to redefine yourself, and it's not possible. You can actually live with it, make it better. It's possible to do it, but once you try to do it, for instance, if someone is type 6 and they bleach their skin to be type 2, what they've done, they've taken away a lot of the protective layer, or they've taken away what we call melanin, which is in the skin for a purpose. So first of all, they've achieved what they want, very happy, but guess what? They've now become vulnerable to so many factors, because the skin has lost its natural integrity, and so it would not survive. People who have bleach need to be careful when they go out in the sun. People who have bleach need to be careful with what products they put on their skin. Even when people pinch them, or even when they cut themselves, they need to be careful, because the protective layer has been taken off. Now, with the type of skin, whatever type of skin you have is what you're born with. What you could do is you can find different ways of taking care of your skin so it doesn't become a problem. You're actually supporting it in the way you want it to be. If you want to find out what type of skin type you have, you can wash your face with your normal cleanser and tap it with either tissue, just dab it and get the water off, and leave it to dry on its own. When the skin dries, you can feel if there's oil coming out more, if your skin is tight, or if you can get oil in the T-zone and dry on the certain area. If you have really tight skin, you have dry skin. If you have normal skin, basically your skin feels like you haven't washed it. It just feels like flawless. And there's not a lot of people who have normal skin, but some people are blessed with it. And then combination, what you notice is immediately after drying it, you can see the T-zone coming up with a bit of oil, and then the other side of your skin having a bit more dryness. That is combination. Oily, you'd have oil all over. There's nothing wrong with that. They all have a purpose. People who have very dry skin, they don't have acne. They hardly get acne. People who have very oily skin, they don't age quickly. So there's always benefit to whatever you have. Let's give God thanks. When it comes to type of hair, we'll come back. All these will become relevant when it comes to the advice and tips. Type of hair, I'm sure a lot of people have seen this already. There's type 1 to 4. Type 1 is straight hair, type 2 is wavy hair, type 3 is curly hair, and type 4 is curly hair. Now, even on each of the spectrum, I would agree when Queen said earlier that she thinks her hair is type 4, because even though it says 4A, B, C, we know that there are some curls that even go even tighter, so tight that you don't know where to put it. But we've just put a guide, so the professionals in the industry would know how to treat the hair. So it's not a clear definition, because guess what? There could be one head that has all three of this. Some people have really fine hair at the front, wavy hair in the middle, curly hair in the back, and then tight curl around the nape area. That is possible. But what defines, I haven't got a screen to show you this, but what actually defines this type of hair is the shape of your follicle. You're born with it. Whatever follicle you have, the shape of the follicle can be round, it can be oval, and it can be elliptical. If it's round, the hair is straight. If it's oval, the hair is slightly wavy. If it's elliptical, which is quite flat, almost like that, then you're going to have really tight curls. In the world we live now, there's so many races. Everyone has got something in them. And that explains why we have different textures. Only God knows, my surname is English. Only God knows who my forefathers are and what kind of genes that has been carried on all the way till now. So sometimes I wash my hair, I look at the hair at the front, and it's nice and curly. That could be my generation 2,000 years ago showing in my hair. And then sometimes it's so tight and curls. That is the father I had just this, just this life. So it's different. Okay, but that is how it's defined. It's defined by type or texture based on the genes you have, because your genes is what tells you the shape of your follicle, and your shape of your follicle is what produces the hair. You can't change that. I have seen very, very rare instances when people have gone through some kind of treatment, for instance, chemotherapy, and the hair is changed. Yes, it's very possible, because what chemotherapy does, it takes away all the cells. It literally gets rid, because of the cancer, they're trying to flush off the cells and introduce new ones again. And in the process of doing that, the hair and the skin is always the first to go. I'm sure some of you have noticed when people go through chemo, they lose all the hair. The hair and the skin is always the first to go, because the hair and the skin, interestingly, is one of the most active cells. It's the most fastest recycling cell in our body. So it's always that to go. That is the first to go. And when it comes back, it might affect the follicle a little bit as you go through chemo. The structure, as you go to chemotherapy, the structure might change. So someone who had oval after chemo might have a little bit flatter, which means the hair which used to be wavy might end up being curly, or the hair which used to be straight might end up being a bit more wavier. Okay, so that is it for hair now. I've given you all the basic foundation you need for hair. So we're going to go on to caring for your hair and your skin, your hair and your skin. So I've done one bit for external and one bit for internal, because it works both ways. You can't do one aspect and leave the other. Something would come up. It would almost be like you've got a gap to fill. You need to, for optimum results, you need to work from both within and outside. So internal and external. For external, we're going to talk about how to care for your skin. And this is the basic skincare routine everybody should know. You first cleanse your skin, you tone or essence. I'll tell you about this in a minute. You moisturize, and you serum, and you protect. Cleansing your skin would be based on the type of skin you have. So if you've got oily skin, please buy oily product and oily cleansers made for oily skin. A lot of the brands will tell you, when it comes to cosmetics, there's so many confusion, because everyone wants to go, most people wants to go ethical. Most people don't want to use harsh products. Yes, there is a lot of research to back that up. But I think that at the end of the day, if you know a brand that is reputable, that is enough for you to go through it. Because, for instance, most people say they don't want to do alcohol at all. Alcohol is a preservative. But the reason why most people don't do alcohol is because some of the alcohol can be quite irritant. It can be quite dehydrating on your skin. But very good products or very good brands use alcohol, like denatured alcohol, and it serves a purpose, but it's a bit more gentler on your skin. So if you know the brand is quite reputable, if you're not sure, take a minute, read a bit about it, and before you go for it. Because of social media now, there's so many information out there. So just read a little review to see if that product has less harsh chemicals. For me, the only guide that I usually go for is, if you have a long list of ingredients at the back of the product, it puts me off, because it's like you're adding too much to cover up something. So it shouldn't be too long. If you look at the back and the list is too long, forget it. I'll tell you a few brands that I personally feel confident with. So you cleanse. If you have oily skin, please use oily products. If you have dry skin, use products made for dry skin. If you have combination, use product cleansers made for combination. You cleanse, get rid of all the dead or all the dead skin, because remember I said to you, every 4 to 6 weeks we have new skin coming through. Those skin cannot share on its own. That's why we shower, that's why we wash. When we do that, it gets rid of the dead skin and make room for the new skin to come, and that's why you need to cleanse. And also, as we go out every day, there's so many pollution and environmental factors that affect our skin. That's why we need to cleanse. Once you cleanse, the reason why toners and essence are there, cleansers can be quite harsh on the skin because it's got detergent in there. The detergent has to be at a certain pH so it can do the job. Once you cleanse, you need to use toner to bring your skin back to the normal pH, because if you don't, what we call acid mantle, which is the protective layer, or should I say the stratum corneum. Remember I talked to you about the very top one? That top layer has a protective layer on top. And the protective layer is meant to protect your hair from dehydration, from microorganisms or pathogen. So if you wash your skin off, you need to make sure you bring back the acid mantle, which is the pH level, by using a toner. I'm sure people who are more into beauty, I'm sure you've heard a few times people saying, oh, but toners are not relevant anymore. Yes, it's not if you know what you're doing. If you know the cleanser you're using hasn't got any detergents in there, then obviously you don't need any toner. If your cleanser is the same pH as your skin, which is between 5 and 5.5, then you don't need a toner. But the reason why the toner is there is to bring the pH back. So when you put the moisturizer on it, the moisturizer would work. If the pH is too low, the moisturizer would not be as effective. The difference between toner and essence is usually toner brings the pH back. Essence does that and also adds hydration to it, because some of the essence will have a bit of like an oil in it. I don't know if you've heard about micellar water. That is one of them. It can have a bit of oil in there, or it can have some vitamins or minerals in there. So you're actually killing two birds with one stone. So you put that there, you put moisturizer, and then you put serum. If you don't have any moisturizer, you can go ahead and do serum. But usually if you have very dehydrating skin or dry skin, it's best to do moisturizer before serum. The reason why we layer it this way is because moisturizer is water-based, serum is oil-based. If you put oil on water, it will not evaporate. If you put the serum before the moisturizer, it's likely that it will evaporate. So you put that before there. When it comes to serum, that will be like a whole new workshop we have to do, because with serum, they always have different purposes. Someone's serum might be vitamin C, which is for brightening your skin. Some might be vitamin B, which is meant to help with your skin renewal. Some might be maybe hyaluronic acid, which is meant to make your skin look firmer and stronger, because that also goes right into the skin. Now, a lot of the serum will travel deeper into your skin, and that's the purpose of the serum. So even if you put it underneath the moisture, remember, moisture is water-based, moisturizers are water-based, serums are oil, so they will travel and go along it. The serum that you choose will depend on your skincare need. There's a whole lot of things. If you happen to have high pigmentation, you know that you need to use perhaps kojic acid, or you could actually use vitamin C. Is good for high pigmentation. All the vitamin A, C, and E, or you can just put it this way, ACE, A, C, and E, vitamin A, C, and E is ACE. All those ones are antioxidants. Now, it's really good if you have a mixture of all three, that works better. It's really good to put antioxidant on your skin because it gets rid, it helps with oxygenation, because it stabilizes free radicals. And we do have a lot of that from environment as we go out every day, or even as we touch our face, we kind of introducing things to our face. So antioxidants are superb for any skincare. If you don't know what your skin goal is, you can always start with antioxidants. So you can either get vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin C, or vitamin E, which is ACE. These are antioxidants you can use for your skin. And then you can get moisturizer tailored for yourself. You can get moisturizer for dry skin, moisturizer for normal skin, moisturizer for oily skin. The most important thing above all this is protection. So you've done all the good work. It would only survive if you have protection. The protection here I'm talking about is SPF. Whether you're black, white, or whichever color, as long as, and whether it's hot, cold, as long as you can see daylight coming through your window, you're actually getting some rays of ultraviolet coming through. So if you don't take anything away today, the most important thing I would like you to remember is always protect, which is sun protection. The advisable sun protection for in UK is 30. In some countries, because the ozone layer is so depleted, they have to do about 100. In UK, we advise 30 minimum. There's not much difference between 50 and 30, so you might as well go for the 30. You could do 50 if you want. If you know you're outdoorsy person or you're going to spend a lot of time outdoor, do 50. Briefly on exfoliate and mask, this is what you do depending on your skin type. Once a week, you can do a deep facial for yourself, exfoliate, and then put the mask on it and a nice moisturizer. Now, if you're going to do exfoliate and mask, where this comes through, it comes in right after toning. So you cleanse, you tone, you exfoliate, and then you mask and you moisturize and serum. This is what you do once in a week if needed. If you don't need it, that's fine. But it's really good for your skin because it helps with the cycle. And like I said, if your skin is renewing itself quickly and effectively, you're going to have nice glowing skin, but also you're going to help the skin underneath it do the job quicker so you can have nice skin. When it comes to hair, this is the normal hair care routine that a lot of us will suggest in the industry. Shampoo first, conditioner first, moisturizer, and then oil. Now, shampoo, there's different types of shampoo. I've heard about people saying no poo, no shampoo. Good for them. But if you would go for weeks or months without washing your body, then fine, you can choose to no poo your hair. That's your problem. But I'm telling you now, there's no way you can do no poo for the rest of your life and not see the impacts on the hair. Shampoo is important, but the type of shampoo and the different ingredients in shampoo is what is put people off. But the reason why we shampoo is to get rid of dead skin on the scalp, dirt on the hair, oil that is picked up on dirt on the hair shaft and the skin. And when you shampoo your hair, you have clean scalp, clean hair, and that's how your hair will thrive. Yeah. And that is how your hair will thrive. So you need to try as much as possible to use a shampoo which is not harsh. Now, if you know you've put on a weave for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and you haven't shampooed your hair, when you take your weave or your braids out, use what we call a clarifying shampoo. It's not going to kill your hair. It's going to get rid of every single buildup or debris or dirt or even sebum that is sat on your scalp for that long. You need to get rid of all that before you put conditioner on it. Whatever damage, just like the cleansers, whatever damage the shampoo would do, the conditioner would replace it. Yes, there are some shampoos that will strip the hair. Therefore, you can't keep using clarifying shampoo every week because guess what? The conditioner would not replace enough. You use clarifying shampoo once in a while. For Afro-Caribbean, it's usually best to use moisturizing shampoo on a regular basis. If you've got European hair and it's thin, you can use volumizing shampoo. And I mean, there's different shampoos you can use. If you go to the shops, look, take a minute to read the shampoo. If it says clarifying shampoo or cleansing shampoo, you know it's an occasional thing. If you know you've been swimming, yes, you've got chlorine in your hair, use a clarifying shampoo and then put conditioner in it. If you know you washed your hair 3 days ago, you can actually do the no poo wash or the co-wash, where you take a little bit of shampoo, a little bit of conditioner, mix it together and wash your hair with it. That is the co-wash, because you know you've washed your hair 2 or 3 days ago, you've got Afro hair, your hair dries out easily. There's no need for you to do another shampooing because that would be too harsh for the hair. So you get one shampoo, one portion of shampoo, one portion of conditioner, get it together, wash your hair, clean your scalp, rinse it out. That's it. And then you can move on to conditioner. Again, the same method works here. Moisturizer before oil. Oil is always a sealant. Moisturizer is water-based. If you put moisturizer without oil, that's when you keep telling your hairdresser, my hair is dry, my hair is dry. Because you're putting the conditioner, which is moisture in, you're putting moisturizer in, which is moisture in. But guess what? You're not sealing it. You have to seal it with oil. If you don't seal it, the hair will evaporate. And how the hair evaporates, if you remember what I said to you about the hair shafts, these scales, they do have gaps in between them. So it can't evaporate. And the same with skin. These have gaps in between them. So if you don't seal it with oil, it can't evaporate. So it's always important to have a little oil to seal it. Because guess what? I don't know if you remember, I said to you, all these oils, all these gaps in between, what is holding them together is lipids. Lipids are fats. Fats are oil. Do you see where it's coming from? Lipids, fat, oil. So they actually serve that purpose. They hold it together like a concrete. They seal it and they prevent it from evaporating or drying out. So it's really important to try as much as possible to get that. Deep treatment and mask. This is almost the same. Deep treatment or deep conditioning is what you normally do if you leave the conditioner on it for a bit longer. Now, mask is got a bigger molecule. So mask actually has more, hair mask adds more texture to the hair as compared to deep conditioner. Conditioner kind of, it fills the gap in between the hair. Hair mask gives you a bit more volume. But both of them can be used in the same way. And how you use deep conditioning treatment and mask is when you go to the shops, you would see most of them are made from protein. Some of them will tell you they're for dry hair or for thirsty hair. You leave the product, you shampoo, you put this product in there. You can either cover your hair with shower cap or wrap it with cling film, and you can get a warm towel and wrap it up and leave it for like 20 to 30 minutes. That is the conditioning treatment you come to the salon to get done. You can do it at home yourself if you don't have the time. What you're doing, literally, the heats that you're putting in there, sometimes it's not even heat from the towel, it's your own body heat. Opens up these scalings, these little scalings here. When they get heat, they lift up and the product can go in. Once you put cold water on it, they close. It's the same with products. We'll come to that in a minute. When you put relaxer, it lifts up. When you put color, it lifts up. So it depends on what you put on this hair. It's responsive to it. If you put warm water, it will, the shaft, the cuticles will open up so the product will go in. So if you leave the conditioner on this hair, which is one strand of hair, by the way, and I know all of us have loads of it. So if you put the conditioner on there for a few minutes, you're giving the conditioner the time to enter the shaft. It's a process that is amazing and only God will understand, but that's what happens. And that is how you get conditioning treatment. You're actually putting nutrients back in the hair, because even normal shampoo can strip off a bit of this. That's why you have split ends. Split ends only happen to the old hair that is frayed or has damaged cuticle is what causes split end. So normal environmental factors, being outside a lot, lying on the hair, brushing the hair, it all causes this. But they're gradual, it's not sudden. The sudden process is when you put relaxer, color, all the chemicals, is more immediate damage. But we do have normal wear and tear, let's put it that way. Normal wear and tear every now and then. And that's why it's good to trim your hair, because it usually shows on the tip of the hair, which is the hair that is lived the longest. So it's the hair that has had a lot of environmental damage or product damage and stuff like that. So it's really important that you do deep conditioning or hair mask every now and then to put the nutrients back to keep the hair going. One important thing I'll say with hair is, unlike skin, when the hair is dead, you can't repair it. You can only sustain it for a little bit. But really, once the hair is dead, all you could do is cut it off. So when you have the hair on your head, take care of it. If you're not taking care of it and it really goes bad, the only way out is to chop it all off and start all over again. Otherwise, you can do treatment time after time. Yeah, it's going to cost you money, but what you're doing is you're actually sustaining the hair until a certain stage where eventually it will break off on its own. Hair is dead cell. You can't bring it back to life. So you can only support it as much as you can. Okay? Internal care, I'll rush through this really quick because it looks like we're running out of time. Okay, I'll rush through this really quick. Nutrition, exercise, beauty, sleep, and protect. This is my formula. Health skin, actually that should have been hair and skin, equals nutritional diet plus exercise minus stress and toxins. Okay, so nutritional diet would be the main three diets. I'll make it this so brief because I love nutrition. If I don't control myself, I might get carried away. The main three things you need to understand about food is we have macro molecules or macronutrients, and we have micronutrients. Both of them come together to give you a balanced diet. The macronutrients, you need them in big amounts, and that is carbohydrate, protein, and fats. The micronutrients are usually minerals, vitamins, and traces of elements. It's three things. Now, there's a lot of them, but guess what? They can be derived from the macronutrients. So if you're eating very good carbohydrates, protein, and fats, you will be getting the macronutrients from there, from the main ingredients. Now, if you want to up it up a bit more, just make sure you're deriving these from whole food. So, for instance, spinach, it's not just iron. Spinach, it's got carbohydrates in there as well. Spinach has also got fat in there. It's just small, little traces of them. So if you know, instead of, I don't want to start stating food, so somebody's dinner will be put off tonight or someone's breakfast will not happen tonight. But all I want to say is be very conscious of the food you're eating. Make sure the food is whole food and less, I didn't say not at all, less of the processed food, less of the sugars. So make sure a lot of your food is the whole food. And when you have the whole food, these little nutrients you need will come in, and that's what makes balanced diet. As we grow older, our body is not able to make the nutrients from the food that much. So what you need is to supplement. That's why I've put supplements here. If you would remember, I said to you before, the main thing that makes hair is protein, which is the keratin. The main thing that makes skin is the same. And what holds those protein and keratin together is lipids, which is fats. Carbohydrate is really good because that's what gives you energy, like ready to go. That's carbohydrate. All these protein and lipids, they would only come together to do the job properly if they have the core enzymes, the little elements, the little traces of stuff you need. In the hair, you need iron, you need zinc, you need magnesium. All these can come from greens, vegetables, fruits. If you can't get them from there, like I said, you can get them from supplements, seeds. You know, you can get all these things from those. Explore, eat certain fruits, just explore a bit more, see what you like. Because at every point, your body is acceptant to something. If that is what your body wants and it's healthy and it's whole, I'm not saying if your body is craving chocolate, eat chocolate every day. I'm saying if it happens that it's a mango season and you're craving mango, eat the mango, keep eating the mango. It's got a lot of vitamin C in there. It's good for you. It's good for your skin. And if you keep mixing your food a bit more, you are actually going to have a balanced diet. But the most important is carbohydrate, protein, and fats. everything in control portion. If you're not sure, please check online food plates. It will tell you which portions you need on food plates. Exercise is also good because exercise is what gets your metabolism going. If you put all those food in there, if you want the cells, that 30 trillion cells to do the job properly, you need to exercise, because exercise or movement, some people say just walk 20 minutes a day, it's fine. But it all depends on the individual. If you've been doing 20 minutes a day like me, I walk every day because of my job, I'm always on the go. So 20 minutes a day is nothing because it's a normal lifestyle for me. If I want to exercise, I have to go for a run because walking every day is normal. So the body knows that I'm not working out. If you know your lifestyle is normal, some people say, oh, but my job means, yeah, but your body knows that this is normal lifestyle. So you need to push it a bit further. You know, if you know you can't do it, just get a little exercise at home, do it, and it will help. Beauty sleep. Oh my God. This is the most important thing. Sun protection, skin, remember that?
Yeah.
Beauty sleep, very important. Because when we sleep, that is the only time the cells are able to regenerate. It's only when you're sleeping. If you're not having a good 7 to 8 hours sleep, please try. It's hard in this world we live in, but try and do that at least for 3 to 4 weeks and tell me if you don't see any difference. It's really important you get a decent sleep every now and then, or as regular as you can. And then back again to protection. Now, I have put protection here, not as SP. I've put protection here as stress and toxins. Stress is one of those things that releases the most horrible hormones in a large, it's not horrible hormones. Everything in us is good. It's we that makes it horrible. The hormone that stresses release is actually there for a purpose. It's there for what we call fight or flight. So for instance, if you see something that you're scared of, even if it's a fly flying your way, you shiver first, you hit the fly, and then you come back to normal. Now, the hormone that causes that to do that is a stress hormone. But the stress hormone that does that actually comes back to normal once the culprit is disappeared. So if it was a fly, once the fly is gone, you're back to normal. And that is what we call normal fight or flight mode. Now, if you stress, that hormone that caused you to do that is always active. This is what happens when you're stressed. When you're stressed, you're always on the edge. So you're producing that hormone, which is the fear hormone, and it sends a lot of chaos into your body. That's why it's not good to stress. It actually affects everything else in your body. And when you stress, guess what? The cells are meant to be concentrating on your skin and your hair and make your hair look good, make your nails look good. But no, they're actually concentrating on the stress hormone because the stress hormone is interrupting the whole process. That is why it's important not to stress, because it does affect your skin and hair. I have seen clients and patients who have lost drastic hair because they had a traumatic event in their life. But within that period, the cells in the body were concentrating on the stress instead of concentrating on the hair. So guess what happened? It forced the hair from the growing phase. Remember I said to you there was 3 phases. It forced the hair out of the growing phase, straight into the fallout phase, and then the hair starts coming out. It was the stress that caused that. So you need to always make sure you're in harmony. You need to trust that whatever is happening, we have a God who takes care of us and we're fine. He will not leave us or he will not forsake us. He's there for us regardless of the situation. It's easier for you to say, but if you don't have faith, you're not going anywhere with that. You need to have faith in what you're reading. You need to believe in the word. And when you believe it, you start living it. But if you read it and you just put it on the side, hey, everybody can do that.
Yeah.
The difficult bit is actually applying it. And that application will control your anxiety and stress. I'm saying it because maybe I haven't got the stress you have, but it's fine. Because guess what? The same Lord says he will not give us anything we can't handle. What you have is your stress.
Yeah.
My stress is different. So my stress could not be the same stress as you. But guess what? I'm using the same mechanism to solve my stress issue. So you can do it. And it's the same God. He hasn't changed yesterday, today, or tomorrow. Go for it. Okay?
Yeah.
So that is the internal care. It's really important. Please try as much as possible not to stress about that. Have a rock in your life that you can rely on and keep going. I'm not sure if I have enough time, Queen.
Please go on. We love it.
Okay, so I think we've just got a few more slides to go. We should be fine. Styling and treatment procedure. I'll just rush through this quickly. So when it comes to skin, I have actually grouped them because there's so many. I've only got into skin about a year ago, and it baffles me how much treatment is there and how much technology is kind of making room for more treatments to come in. But I've summed it up briefly so you can decide where you want to start from. Now, should we start from, I didn't arrange it in a systematic way. Should we start from makeup? Everybody knows or uses some kind of makeup. I know everybody does. Just a little foundation here, a little lip gloss here, eyebrow shaping. Some people go excessively. Now, if you know you put makeup on your face, please don't ever go to bed with the makeup. It's really important because just a few slides ago, I was telling you the beauty sleep. It's the time when the skin rejuvenates, when the whole body rejuvenates, when you actually have regeneration happening. The last thing you want is to want makeup which is made from minerals and all traces of things sitting on your skin, and your skin can't breathe. You're not getting moisture and it's not getting the chance to renew itself. Not good. So every time you put makeup on. Now, another thing is, as much as we say that some makeup has sun protection, please always ensure you put your sun protection underneath your makeup before you put the makeup on. It's always important when you do your cleanse, your tone, your moisturize or serum, finish with sun protection. Before you put the sun protection on, give it about 10 minutes, let the rest of the products sink in, and you can put sun protection on there, and then you can do your makeup. When you put makeup, I like minimum stuff. I'm not excessive because I'm always cringy when it comes to layers and layers and layers because I feel like the skin should breathe. But each one to their own. If you enjoy layers and layers of makeup, it's really important you take breaks in between your makeup. Give the skin the chance to breathe. And also make sure you cleanse deep. Anybody who does makeup, one cleanse is not enough. You need to cleanse your hair. You need to cleanse your skin twice. You do a pre-cleanse and you do a deep cleanse before you tone. You need to, because the pre-cleanse would only just lift up the oil in the makeup. It's the deep cleanse that actually takes care of the dirt in the pores. Because again, if you look at the skin, you can actually see all these little creases in here. These are gaps in between there. The makeup and all kind of products can sit there. All kind of toxins and environmental factors can sit in between there. The only way you can get rid of it is a deep cleanse. And then you clean it all, and then you give the skin the chance to be able to do what it has to do, especially at night. Now, beauty therapist treatment. Beauty therapist treatment, what you would go to a beauty therapist treatment for would be like a basic facial, maybe just to relax, because most of the basic facials is quite relaxing. You know, when they cleanse your face and they do that little thing on the cheek, and then they do your eyebrows and all that. It's really good and it's therapeutic for you. But another thing that you're benefiting of is you're helping with what we call lymphatic drainage. So your skin will look brighter. It's not something you can do on your own, but because I'm actually trained, sometimes when I wash my face, I finish with my cleanse, putting products on my face, I actually do that just to relax my face a little bit. It's good for you to do that, just like how you massage your body or you stretch your body. Same thing, the muscles on the face also respond to these things. So every now and then you do that. You kind of, there's different kinds of massages you can do. On social media, there's a lot of them now. So you can try that if you want, but every now and then you can try and do that. If you go to a beauty therapist, you can ask for different kinds of facials. You can go to them and just say to them, look at my skin and give me a facial. They would give you a facial tailored for you. If you don't know, just say you want to test that. So just a basic facial, still as good. It can go a bit more further. If you want anti-aging, there are non-invasive stuff a lot of the beauty therapists can do. So if you say you want to lift your skin a little bit, they can do, we call them modalities, but they're different modalities. You can use micro needling is good, but it's a bit too harsh. No, forget micro. You could do microcurrent, which is when they put electrical machines on your face to kind of tighten your muscles a little bit. There's Faradic. There's a lot of machines that beauty therapists use in terms of toning the muscles on your face. But there's also things they can use to clear your face, like chemical peels, like micro needling, like micro dermablading. If you know you're doing anything that involves this part of the skin, or if you know there's blood involved, anything deeper, then you're coming towards this bit here. Yep. Every beauty therapy should only work in the epidermis, because guess what? In the epidermis, there's no blood vessels. So we're just working on the superficial skin. But if they're working in here, that is not meant to be done in a beauty therapist. It's meant to be done by either an esthetician or a dermatologist, a doctor. So once it's anything deeper, please make sure you do your homework first, because there might be side effects to it, which the beauty therapist is not qualified for. But for basic superficial facial care, you can go to your beauty therapist and ask them to do one for you. You don't have to literally think that, oh, it's not for my skin type. Please just try. It's quite therapeutic. You can relax, you can go in, have a nice cleanse. They can also do deep cleansing where they put steamer on your face, and the steamer will help open the pores. Everything will come up every now and then. It's quite good. Estheticians, aesthetic treatments would be the ones that will do the peeling. So they will go a bit deeper. They might do a bit of injectables. They might do fillers and Botox, each one to their own. Fillers and Botox. They can also do anything that involves lifting and threading like that. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with people going for that. But if you're not into those stuff, you can stick to a beauty therapist who would give you treatment for a good result, but gradually. It's non-invasive, but gradually. Everything that a esthetician can give you immediately, the beauty therapist can give you in a gradual process, but not invasive. It's the same with doctors as well. The doctors will do what the esthetician does. The esthetician will do what the beauty does plus what he or she does. The doctor will do all three, but the doctor does more. The doctor will go in and do surgeries, will go in and do facelift, will go in and do nose job. Those ones are a bit more extreme, but for some people in their world, that is normal treatment. So each to their own. All I'm saying is don't be overwhelmed by all the activities going on when it comes to the beauty industry. What it is you are beautiful the way you are. All you need to know is to learn how to support your own beauty. If you think the support involves seeing a doctor to lift your nose a little bit or your eyebrow, look at that, that would be nice. Yeah, it's up to you. But at the end of the day, what you see in the mirror is the image of God, period. When it comes to hair, some of the treatments and processes in hair, we have heat processing, which would be blow drying and straightening. Chemical processing, which would be relaxer, color, even some straightening processes like keratin, blow dry. All these things can be quite, I won't say harsh on the hair, but these are treatments that the minute you do to your hair, it means you need to start taking extra care of your hair. So if you're using a lot of heat, make sure you've got heat protector on your hair before you put it on. If you're using a lot of blow drying, make sure you've got heat protector on before you put on. Otherwise, you can just let your hair air dry and you can go ahead and do whatever you want to do, protective styles. Chemical process, if you're doing relaxer, remember the protective layer of the hair is the cuticles. If you're doing relaxer, you're damaging the cuticles. Therefore, you need to start taking more care of your hair. That's why some people don't like relaxers, because it makes their hair vulnerable. There has been a lot of research saying that relaxer can travel into your skin and it can be carcinogenic and it can also cause fibroid and all sorts. Yeah, the research is still going on, but I think God reveals to redeem. If this information are coming in through gently every now and then, it's about time for you to decide, if it does resonate with you, for you to decide, okay, do I still want to do chemical processes? Do I still want to put this product on my hair? Do I still want to do Brazilian blow dry? It's up to you. But the knowledge is meant to be, to empower you. So if you hear this knowledge, then you can make your own decision. But for an expert, all I'll say to you is, once you do all these kinds of treatment, you're actually compromising the protective layer of the hair, which means immediately you need to start taking extra care for that hair to make sure the hair doesn't deteriorate or it doesn't snap. And that's the reason why some people want to stay more safer and don't use any of these chemicals. Now, don't think because you're braiding or weaving, you're getting away with it. There's also certain conditions that can develop from braiding and weaving because of the tension. If you put in too much tension on the follicles, it can actually take the hair out of the follicle. It can actually cause a bit more bruising to your scalp and the follicle. If you're keeping the weave or the braids for too long, yes, that can damage your hair too. So it's really important to get a balance. If you've kept it for a little bit, you can take it off. If the braid is tight from the moment you do it, I beg, please, please, please take it out. Because if it's tight at the beginning, by the time you take it off, it would have taken the hair out of the follicle socket. And that is a 50-50% chance of growing back. Because when hair falls out from the follicle, it depends on where the hair is falling out from the follicle. If it's falling out from where the stem cell, let me not use that. If it's falling out a bit more deeper to the hair, to the follicle, then it's likely it won't come back because it's taking off the whole root. But if it's falling off literally on the surface, or even if it's at the falling off stage, then that's fine. But if the hair is still in the growing phase and it's really deep in the hair, and you put a lot of tension from braiding and weaving, and there's a lot of movement, it will take it off. And if you take it off, it's very likely it won't grow back. So it's really important you get the balance. If you've kept your hair for too long, take it off, do a deep conditioner, give it a break, and then you can go back. Hair accessories can do that too. If you use a lot of hair scarf, please, please, please make sure it's not too tight, because there's a type of hair loss around the hairline. We call them CCCA, which is quite common with Afro-Caribbean and also Asians who use a lot of head wrap. So you need to be very careful, because that also puts a lot of tension. But most importantly, the scalp can't breathe, so there's no oxygen. That's one thing I haven't mentioned actually. But another important thing for the hair is oxygen. So apart from the nutrition and the products and the water, it's also important that you get a lot of oxygen in there. You get more oxygen in your body when you exercise. That's another thing that you can bear in mind. Okay?
Yeah.
Common skin and hair issues and disorders. We just rush through this. Acne can actually be caused by different things, but basically acne is an inflammation of your hair follicle. It can happen on your skin, your scalp, your face, everywhere. But most of the time, we have different types. We have whiteheads and blackheads. So it's either a bacterial that is caused it, and if it gets oxidated in the environment, it goes black, and that becomes the blackhead. That's the, you know, when the pimple has that little blackhead in there. So the bacteria in there has been exposed to air and it's been oxidized and it's gone black. If it's white head, it's not been oxidized. So it's literally right on top of the skin, and you can actually see the pus in there. That's bacterial. There's some factors that can cause it. Some people are just born with a lot of oil or sebum secretion, and that's what causes acne. Sometimes it's hormonal. So if you're having a bit of hormonal imbalances, some of the things that can cause hormonal imbalances is stress, the food you eat, lack of sleep, diet. All these things are part of the reasons, part of the factors that can cause hormonal imbalances. So you can resolve it gradually, but just be aware of what is going on there. It can cause pimples. There's a good chart about acne. So where acne is, it will tell you which part of your system. Sometimes over here, it says it's hormonal. Over here, it says it's your liver, your stomach, your kidneys. So there's different parts that can tell you which part of your body. That is a more holistic approach. And a lot of experts are withdrawing more into that aspect because research is backing it up. So you know how to treat the individual. Dehydrated skin is different from dry skin. When you feel like your skin is tight, how you know you've got dehydrated skin? If you look on your forehead, you can see a lot of lines, really fine lines. It's not wrinkles, it's not expression lines, it's just really, really fine lines. That is dehydration. Now, why have I put dehydration as a condition? Because if your skin is telling you you are dehydrated, that means your body is telling you you're dehydrated. Now, our skin, like I said to you before, is the fastest growing cell, our skin and our hair. So if there's any chaos going on in your system, the skin and the hair will pick it up first, because the body knows it's not vital organ. If your kidney, your liver, your digestive system, even your heart is going to any kind of, or is lacking any kind of nutrient, it will compromise the skin and the hair first, because God is amazing. God knows the skin and the hair is not vital organ. If you lose your hair, you won't die. If you lose your heart, you would die. So it always shows on your skin, on your hair first. So if your skin is telling you you are dehydrated, please ensure you're getting at least 1.5 liter to 2 liter of water a day, at least. And there's always things you can do to remind yourself about water. If you don't like water, cut some fruits and put it in there. If you forget to drink water, set yourself a little regimen. I have a friend, she says, every time I go to the loo and I come back, I have to drink water. And it's stuck with her. So there's so many ways you can set yourself triggers. Maybe every time you sit to watch TV, you got water in there. You have to set yourself triggers so you can always remember to drink your water. But it's really important. Redness and inflammation. This is not very seen in Afro hair, but in European hair, in Afro skin, but in European skin, you can see it. With Afro skin, it almost looks like pigmentation. But most people who have redness and inflammation tend to have sensitive skin. And if you have sensitive skin, you need to be very particular about what you put on your skin. Also, research has shown that the food you eat can actually affect the inflammation. So if you know you've got very sensitive skin, just do a little research on foods that are anti-inflammatory and try that. And also, back to the same thing, sleep and try not to stress. Pigmentation, oily skin, once again, that could be caused by hormonal imbalances, or it could just be genes. If you have oily skin, it's not the end of the world. They say oily skin is skin that doesn't age as fast. All you need to do is to find products that would control, that is oil-free. It's really important that you don't put a lot of oil on oil. Some people say, yes, oil takes oil off. It's true. So if you use oil cleanser as a pre-cleanse, it's very good because it will take the oil off. But you need to go back again and cleanse with oil-free products so it doesn't put any more oil on there. Oil-free moisturizer, and then serum, which is not too heavy, would also help. Pigmentation usually happens with everybody. You can see dark lips around here. You can see darkness around your eyelash, area. All those pigmentation can be caused again by hormones. It can be caused by lifestyle product choices. There's so many things you can do to help. If you have pigmentation, please, please, please look for organic anti-pigmentations such as kojic acid, mandelic acid, lactic acid. All these acids, you can use them as a toner or as a serum, and that would help with pigmentation. Excessive hair, we all have experienced it. I have, you know, the odd hair on your chin or the little one that comes on your forehead every year, and you're thinking, what's going on there? Yeah, we all have that. But once in a while, it's good to do a little check. Make sure you do not use razor, please, because razor will just cause an ingrown hair, and the next thing you've got is bumps, which causes you to scratch, and you're introducing more bacteria in there. And the next thing, you've got pigmentation, because guess what? You've actually caused an injury by scratching it, and it's going to get worse. So if you know you're getting a lot of hair around your chin area, it's not something to be ashamed of. It's not detrimental. You know, just see a beauty therapist to either wax it or thread it, or if you can afford, you can go for a laser treatment. It's modern days now, there's so many solutions to it. But one thing I would say to you not to do is to cut it with a razor. Don't do that. If you want to do anything at home at all, tweezer. Take a magnifying mirror, stretch your skin a bit more, get the tweezer and plug it gently. That's what you could do, but do not use razor, because razor is just going to make it worse, and it's just going to give you uneven skin all over. Hair, when we talk about alopecia, every hair loss is called alopecia. Every kind of hair loss, it all comes under one canopy called alopecia. But in the hair industry, we have different types of alopecias. This could take 2 hours, so I'm not going to go into details, but all I want you to understand, any kind of hair loss or any kind of alopecia can be diagnosed based on the cause, and there are treatments out there. There are treatments that would not necessarily reverse it, but it can either bring it to a halt or control it, because some of the hair loss, unfortunately or fortunately, is genes. But if the hair loss is not genetic, if it's genes, it's difficult to stop it, unless even if you do implants, I'm sorry, but even if you do implants, the ones that were not implanted, which are meant to go through, genetically meant to go through hair loss, they will also fall out. So basically, what you could do is slow down the process or bring it to a halt as much as you can. So there's different kinds of hair loss. If you have any problems with hair loss, try and see an expert. Dandruff or dry scalp, this is different causes as well. It's always good to see an expert, but the most important thing is if you have scalp issues, most of the time it's actually due to an allergy or it's due to genes. Sometimes you can't treat it permanently, but you can control it. The reason why you can't treat it permanently is because there's still research going on to find out the pathogens or the microorganism that is causing that. But there are some of them that have been found. For instance, dandruff is been concluded is caused by a fungi called Malinda. So a lot of the shampoos have antiseptic effect on this particular fungi. So someone might use it and it will work for them, and they say, oh yeah, it helped me. Give it to your next person, and it doesn't help them because it could be a different pathogen that is causing it. Or it could be an allergy, which means they have to eliminate something from the diet or something. But all these things is also telling you, they are telltale signs telling you, hey, there's something going on in your system, stop it or change it or do something about it. And different scalp issues are actually from internal. Hydration and dry hair, again, hydration is different from dry hair. If your hair is dehydrated, you're lacking moisture. So you need to put moisturizer before serum. If your hair is dry, that's a different thing altogether. That could be because you have chemically processed your hair. The hair is lost its integrity. So if you put moisture in, it comes out because you have damaged the protective cell, the protective layer. So you put product in, it comes out, put product in, it comes out. So you just need to keep doing it until one day, it comes to an end and you stop the habit. Freezing and split ends, we talked about that. That is usually when the hair is worn out. Do not leave your hair untrimmed because it will make it worse. Greasy scalp could be hormonal. Just make sure you have a cleansing, strong, clarifying shampoo to get rid of the grease before you put conditioner in. Gray hair, usually gray hair is caused by genes, but recently there's been a lot of research saying that some kind of deficiency in zinc, vitamin D, vitamin C could cause gray hair. These research are still going on. There are some people who have actually started taking supplements and they've seen changes in the hair from gray to normal. And there's some people that it's just genetic. They can take all the supplements and it wouldn't work. Like I always say, it's about what resonates with you more, and that's what you have to follow. Okay, so tips and advice, I'll just send this to Queen, so Queen will send it over to you. Once again, the most important thing when it comes to skin, cleanse morning and night, please. Always SPF. Always use SPF. Try and change your pillowcases regularly because sometimes lying on the same pillow, you're building up bacteria, and these bacteria are the ones that causes acne or some kind of skin irritation. So changing your pillows regularly helps. Clean your phone. How many times our phone goes on our cheeks? We're actually introducing pathogens to it. And also be consistent because it's not one day that it would happen. Just keep going like that. And when it comes to hair, be gentle with shampooing. Please don't rub it too much. It's really good to get a good rub. But if you really want to get a good rub, what you want to rub is your scalp. So get your finger balls onto the scalp and rub it. Do not rub the hair because the hair does not need much of shampoo. The shampoo that you put on your scalp will run down the hair and that will clean the hair. Do not rub on the hair too much because that can damage the protective layer. Because the protective layer itself is called, like, remember we said it was like fish scaling?
Yeah.
The last thing you want is you want one to cross the other and cause, or we have that a lot with Afro-Caribbean. So just be gentle. When, I don't know if you've noticed, Queen, but when you come to the salon and I'm washing hair, I'm actually detangling with my fingers at the same time. So every little scrub I do, I try to stretch my hand through the hair as well, because you do not want to just keep rubbing and then the whole hair is tangled. Be gentle because hair and skin is delicate and is beautiful. Always remember to condition after using shampoo. It would be good if you could use a microfiber towel because it's not so drying. If you don't have it, you can air dry it, or old school, just get an old t-shirt and just wipe your hair with it instead of the strong harsh towel. Always brush your hair when it's dry or damp. When it's wet, you're actually tagging it, it's going to snap. When the hair is towel dried or it's almost 80% dry, you can brush it then. Styling, less tension. So like I said, if the braid is too harsh or it's too heavy, please do not sleep on it. Take it out or tell the stylist whilst you're doing it. The minute they put the braid in and you feel uncomfortable, please say to them, it's too tight. Take it out, because the last thing you want is to lose half patches of hair on your scalp. It's not beautiful. Stretch out your chemical processes as much as you can. You can't stop people from doing chemical processing because at the end of the day, each one to their own. So what we can do is we can advise on the best one. If you have to do it, please make sure you go to a professional and make sure they give you all the pros and cons. If there's any kind of allergy test they have to do, just make sure they do the test. Also, switching hairstyles help. So if you have one hairstyle for a long time, you're definitely keeping attention at a certain spot too much. So it's not good. It's always good to change different hairstyles so you can have tension in different places, because hair pulls on the scalp. And then finally, always go to a professional or an expert. Your friends and family can do hair, it's true, but make sure they actually know what they're doing, especially when it comes to chemical treatment. But from what I've said now, you know it's not just chemical treatment, it's also the braiding and the styling and even trimming. If you use a wrong scissors to trim the hair is going to go split again in a week. So it'll be like, you better off not have done it at all. You come to a professional to use a professional scissors for a much more neat trim. You go to a professional who knows all the precautions in using that particular chemical. You go to a professional to make sure that they're not putting too much tension on your scalp, or they're not actually compromising your scalp when you can't do a certain treatment. So it's really important that you always ensure you go to a professional. Conclusion, please bear in mind, no one size fits all. We all have different ways of doing things. I hope the information I've given you is enough for you to decide, but more importantly, it's only a guide. So make sure you empower yourself with more information. Make sure you try to understand what is going on. Listen to your hair and your skin. Bear in mind that what is true beauty to you is what resonates with you. So always remember, what hits home most with you is where you need to concentrate on. And also bear in mind, it is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a working process. It takes time. If you have so much acne on your hair, on your skin, or your hair is growing, it's falling out too much, or it's not growing the way you want to, you can put all these tips and learn all this method, but the only way you can actually thrive is if you put in the time, commitment, and you trust that you will thrive. Okay, so that's me for now. Thank you very much for today.
Thank you so much, Malinda.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Welcome. We've had it's basically a lecture, packed full, so many things that I need to go away and then think on and make sure that I'm doing these things. We have some questions. Does anyone have a question that you want to say, or you can type it out in the chat? But I have some questions already.
Yeah, I've got one.
Yes, please go ahead.
Oh, wow. It is so mind-blowing. Yeah, it is eye-opening. So many things. I think, oh, it's okay to do it, but you have told me the exact process to do it. It is amazing. Thank you, Malinda.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
The thing is, I've got some skin tags. When I went to India, I have like taken them off, but still, like I used to get on neck. I've taken them off, but I'm now having on my face. So I don't know, is it like once you take off from one place, do they come in other place, or is it happening like?
Did they confirm what kind of, is it a mole, is it keloids? Did they confirm to you what kind of tax it is?
She might have told me, but I don't remember the name.
Okay, well, usually that's what happens. It's not because you've taken it off, it's coming again. If you usually have that kind of skin issue, it is very likely it would reoccur in different parts of your body. I wouldn't worry about it. If you go and see a dermatologist, they will check or do a little biopsies to see if it's nothing dangerous. But the interesting thing is there's so many technology these days that can help to take it off. So like some laser machines can actually take it off completely and it'll almost look like your skin. But if the problem is internal, it will keep reoccurring. Do you understand? And if it's internal, it's probably something to do with your genome. So we can't necessarily change that. But I always believe that there's always a way out if you're able to live a life that is harmonious for you. this is me trying to be more holistic now. If you go to a dermatologist, they would put a bandage on it. They would give you a solution immediately and suggest maybe a laser treatment like you've done before and take it off. But it won't stop it from coming if it's a genetic issue or if it's internal. So it will keep coming back. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So if that keeps happening, the only thing I personally, in my experience in this field now, believe in is it's always good to try in your own way what you could do to stabilize your general health, and hopefully that would help, because sometimes it's the body telling you something. It could be your immune system saying that all the cells that is accumulating to cause the tag, because skin is meant to be smoothly. I mean, I have got photodermatitis for the first time from the sun, but that's because I've changed my diet. So the body is trying to adjust itself. It happens, and for so many reasons, something would happen. But bear in mind, if you support the body the right way, it will definitely give you the credit you need. You understand what I'm trying to say? But just to let you know, it's not my area of specialty. It would be a dermatologist, but my little knowledge tells me that even if they do a laser treatment, if it's something that is reoccurring, it will keep coming back again because it's internal, and you might even see it in the family as well.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Okay, so we have a question that's been posted in the chat section.
Okay.
It says, how should we choose the shampoo based on the fact that the hair is very oily and greasy? And I believe this is Caucasian hair.
Caucasian hair, it's quite easy, because the reason why Caucasian hair is oily and greasy is because when oil or sebum secretes from the scalp, it travels easily on straight hair. You know, with Afro-Caribbean hair, or even type 2 and type 3, we've got a little bit of wave and a little bit of curls. So it takes time for the oil to travel all the way to the end. But with Caucasian hair, if your hair is straight or your hair is slightly wavy, it gets greasier quicker, because when you shampoo your hair today, the amount of oil coming travels really quickly, and by the end of 2 days, you've got greasy hair again. The grease is good for the hair, because guess what? The grease is got essential chemicals which protect the hair, but unfortunately, it makes our hair look flat and boring, or it picks up on dirt. So to answer your question, you can actually use a gentle shampoo. You can actually use one of the shampoos, products that I like is L'Oreal products anyway. So you can use some L'Oreal shampoos, which is for greasy hair. But the only thing I would say to help is perhaps you can shampoo more often. If you're shampooing more often, it means your shampoo has to be gentle. If you get what I mean. So if you're not going to shampoo more often, you can actually use a stripping shampoo, but you're not doing often. If you're going to do it often, you can actually get a gentle shampoo, and you can shampoo it more often. So you can control the oil production on the hair.
Thank you.
That's all right.
All right. Do we have any other questions someone wants to ask?
Yeah, I've got one more question.
All right.
I've got two questions. How often we need to shampoo? Mine is like dry skin, dry oil, dry hair. And the other thing is, do we have to take even vitamin D supplements even in summer as well?
Yeah, vitamin D. First question is, how often do you have to shampoo your hair if you have dry scalp?
Yeah.
Dry scalp doesn't mean you're not secreting any oil. You are, but it's not enough. So the hair will get dirty. The hair will get dirty, but it will not be as dirty as greasy hair. What makes it dirty really is the sebum attracting dust and sticking onto the hair. So you can actually wash your hair once a week if you want. if you're using conditioner, you can actually use the shampoo and the conditioner for midweek wash. So if you wash your hair maybe on Sunday, on Wednesday you can mix shampoo and conditioner together to do what we call a co-wash in between, just to freshen it up a little bit, so you don't strip off too much of it, but at the same time you're trying to keep the scalp clean and the hair clean. Vitamin D is, unfortunately, we're not getting enough, and you can never have enough. A lot of people have experienced vitamin D deficiency quite often, and there's really nothing stopping you from having vitamin D, especially with supplement. When we get to a certain age, our body doesn't really synthesize a lot of the supplement properly. So it's really important for us to take them externally or orally. You can't have enough. You would have to, if you think you're taking it too much. Another important thing is, if you've been on a certain supplement for a long time and you feel like you're not feeling yourself, I'll suggest to you to get a blood test done first to see if you actually have an excessive something already, because too much of everything is bad. So as much as having a deficiency can be an issue, you can also have too much of it, which can be an issue. So if you're not certain about it, you can always do a test first. Go to the GP, and as you know, our GPs can be quite difficult, but you can always make something up and get a little blood test done. And the blood test will tell you. If you're not sure, get the GP to explain to you a bit more, or you can see a trichologist, because we also train to read blood results, and we can't do the test, but we can read the results, and we can let you know which areas you have to opt it up and which areas you have to take it out.
Okay. Last question.
Yeah,
I've got gray hair and I color my hair. So do I have to take any special measures to take care of my hair then?
Are you doing home coloring, or are you going to the salon?
No, I do home coloring.
Okay, every color that we do at home, even actually every color at all, has to go through the cuticle before it goes to the middle part of the hair, remember? Now, the cuticle, which is the protective layer, once you use color, you have to go back and repair it. If you're doing it at home, a lot of the times, you don't ensure that you're repairing it properly, if you know what I mean. Because usually when we do shampoo coloring in the salon, we use professional products to kind of repair the cuticle. You can't repair it 100% but you can actually help it. So if you do it at home, you're probably doing it maybe every 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks.
Yep.
So I would say to you, if you're doing it at home, always try to do just the regrowth. Don't overlap it, just the regrowth, and then try mask treatment every now and then to help sustain the hair, because regardless, every color you do has an impact on the hair. Some of them will say ammonia free. It's replaced it with something else. And that something else is what breaks the cuticle for the color to go in. The only thing that doesn't damage the cuticle is semi-permanent color. And sometimes some organic products, like some henna, not all of them, but some henna doesn't damage the cuticle. But if you're using color, the only way the color, whether it's ammonia free or whatever free, the only way it will go in is if it breaks that barrier. Yeah, does that answer your question?
Oh, yes, yeah. Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
Malinda, we still have a number of questions, and I can see the time, but if you can just rush through these questions, that would be really good.
Fire away.
Okay, so the first one, I think you've answered some of it, and you've answered this first one, for example. This one, if you can just say it, how many times a year should I apply relaxer to my hair? You touched on it earlier and you said not frequently, but roughly like once a year, twice a year?
Okay, so with relaxer, it depends on how often, it depends on certain factors. There's so many variations that you need to consider. Ideally, I would suggest do not relax your hair at all until if you know you're going to put it away. So if you know your hair is going to go into a braid or something else, try and avoid relaxer. If you're going to keep your own hair, then you would need relaxer. Now, if you're keeping your own hair, try and stretch it for maybe every 8 weeks, every 2 months. That is if you're keeping your own hair every day. But if you're someone who braids or weaves, then try to stretch it as much as you can, maybe twice a year, or avoid it completely. Because guess what? You can do silk press and your hair will look nice and straight for a little bit. And then by the time you get bored, when you have done relaxer, you would have gotten bored. By the time you get bored with the silk press, you're ready to put it away again. So you really didn't need to do that to compromise the integrity of the hair.
Right.
So technically, it's more individual choice. So all the information I've given to you today, you need to tailor it to yourself. There's more into details, but we don't have the time. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Then the next one, you know, the different weathers we have, you know, winter, summer, spring, autumn, which one's best or better for our skin and for our hair, and how can we maximize it? Well, you've said how we can maximize it, but if you can just say which weather, because I think the weather affects our skin and hair, right?
It does. I think the sun is the best one, but research is also shown that our hair grows a lot more in the winter. According to some researchers, they say the winter means you need hair to keep you warm. So our amazing Father, Lord Jesus, is made it such that wintertime we grow more hair. But the interesting thing is there's a lot of people who suffer from dryness during winter because we're indoors.
Yes.
And we put the heater on. And so you're not actually getting moist air. You're actually getting dry hair. In the summer, I noticed that a lot of people like to leave their hair out a bit more, and that gives the hair the chance to thrive. So it depends on which angle you're looking at the hair, at the question, and that will tell you how to look at it. Because if, according to research, wintertime is growing more, but we're indoors, and so you kind of lose it up there, yeah. So it's a complex one, but the information is out there. And if you want to work with it, so for instance, if I have to advise someone who wants to grow their hair, I'll probably say to them, put it away in the winter and let it out in the summer.
And with all the protection that you spoke about earlier.
Yeah, I mean, letting it out, you still have to follow the protections. When you go in now, always try as much as possible. You put a bit of moisturizer and oil on your hair as well, because that is the hair's sun protection. So as much as we have to use SPF on our skin, we also need to protect our hair from ultraviolet too. And some of the things we can use to protect our hair is leave-in conditioner, moisturizer, and oil. So you can do that. And in the winter time, you don't want the hair to be dehydrated and snap off. So you put it away. And when you take it out, you give it a good moisture treatment, conditioning treatment. You have to really know your lifestyle. And that's why I said you need to empower yourself. All the information is there. And coming to Zoom trainings or Zoom talks like this helps you to kind of gather information and tailor something for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's how you can thrive.
That's right.
I love using that word.
Yeah. I mean, it just tells us so much and shows a lot how passionate you are about these topics. Because, you know, it's been fun. I think we've spent 2 hours, but it doesn't really matter because it's fun. Just listening and just, you know, seeing what you have to say about these things. Before I go to the next slide, I just wanted to find, earlier you were talking about toner and cleanser. Where does rose water come in? Is it a toner? Is it a cleanser?
Okay, so what I didn't touch on at all are natural organic products. So everything you see in that list, from cleanser to toner to moisturizer to serum, you can have all of that in the natural range, right? Some people use coconut oil as cleanser. Some use honey as cleanser. So all these natural products also have their place. If I say to you, I'm going to go in, another 2 hours we need. But you're right, rose water falls under toner because it helps bring back the pH level.
All right, okay. So I think I'm going to skip this because because you touched on it a bit earlier.
Oh, did I? Okay.
Yeah. Please give a rough guide to keeping. Yes, I'm going to skip this as well. I'll move on to the last one. Okay, so what is the best way to deal with hair that's falling off due to age?
Okay, so remember I said.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Remember I said to you, alopecia, hair loss,
yeah,
comes in different forms, and some hair loss are genetic. And so with the genetic ones, unfortunately, it's not every time you can completely stop it. You can slow it down. You can't halt it. You can slow it down. Hair loss due to age is one of them. We call them androgenetic hair loss or androgenetic alopecia, and that is caused by androgens. And androgens are hormones in our body, and at a certain point for women, the estrogen level goes down, the testosterone level goes up. For men, it's the opposite. Yeah, they don't have estrogen, but they have testosterone level going up and up and up. Hence why they get bald, and some women also get bald. Now, there are treatments that inhibit these estrogens or these hormones, right, and they inhibit it to slow it down. Right. So you can just slow it down. You can't necessarily stop it from happening. You can only slow it down by using this inhibitor. The most popular one on the market is what we call minoxidil. Minoxidil, you can even get it from Boots at the moment. You can also get it prescribed if it's really severe hair loss due to age. You can get it prescribed by your GP or your dermatologist. The one thing I'll suggest is if you want to use all these products, because it's interfering with the reproductive hormones, you need to be careful at a certain age. If you childbearing age or things that has to do with your reproductive system, you need to be very careful about this. So a lot of the times with trichologists, if we're going to recommend it, we do recommend for people who have gone through the childbearing age, being male or female, or they're not interested in having any more kids. So even if it interferes with your hormones, because it does interfere with your hormones, because we know that the hormones are the culprits. So if we inhibit it, the process of losing the hair is slowed down. You're still going to lose hair, by the way, but it's just going to be slower. It's not going to be as fast.
Okay, so for women, because most of the time when I've seen this happen, it happens in women over 60.
Yeah.
It's more visible then when they actually start losing the hair.
Yeah.
And it's not growing back. They just keep getting bald. Yeah.
So if you've been slowing it down, I mean, even though it's showing at 60, interestingly, the numbers drop from the age of 25. The number of follicles you have, it starts going downtown. I don't know where it goes, but it's going downtown. It goes from about that age. I mean, for instance, they do say you should start using anti-aging product from the age of 25, 30. That is the research now. And that is research to back that. The cells are not at their peak anymore. They start descending, so the activities are slower. And it's the same with the hair as well. So it's gradual. And if you don't have any treatment in place, that is when you see it more evident at the age of 60. All that said, it also depends on your genes. Some people's genes, it only starts going down from the age of 40 or 50, in which case they can go a bit longer before you see obvious hair loss. Yeah, so it always depends on the individual's gene, but there's really no way you can stop it. They have research going on for ages. I've been to a lot of workshops, and there are companies all over the world. There's one in Germany has been doing research for over 80 years, trying to find out how they can actually stop it, So there's nothing that has come up yet. All we know is you can slow it down, and we know what causes it. But I guess we can't take the job of God from him.
All right, thank you for that. So I have this one is for me, it's personal.
Okay.
I've noticed over the past maybe 6-7 years that my feet get drier and drier, and particularly my heels. What do you have to say about that? I mean, all I do is when I notice, I put some light oil, like coconut oil, on it, but that's just all I've done. And what I also notice is sometimes when I do pedicure, it looks better, especially after it's moisturized. It looks better, but it comes back again, and it happens every day.
Do you have dryness in your palm or any other part of your body?
No, I actually have very oily skin. I don't have dryness usually, but I don't know why my feet are getting dry.
Have you been to do you take off the hard skin when you do the pedicure?
Yep.
Well, there's a cycle behind that. Maybe that's what triggered it. There's a cycle behind it that the minute you start taking it off, usually it's best for you to buff it. But the minute you start taking it off with the razor, you have started a process where the skin will start growing back faster.
Right.
Than it used to be. Because those, even though it's dead skin, it's still skin cells, remember?
Yes.
The one on our skin, the translucent, is still made from protein and keratin and it's blood cells. But those ones are what we call lucidium. So they're translucent skin. And so the more you take it off, the skin underneath it thinks that the protection is gone off. So let's produce more. So it keeps coming more. That is the psychological, that's the cycle behind the explanation to that process where if you go to the salon. Yeah. So in the beauty therapy, if you go to a professional, a lot of the times they would either put your feet in a paraffin wax, or they would use a scrub, or they would use a buffer. So we're not really going deeper to kind of aggravate that skin. We're just taking the top skin off. Yeah. So the process will be gradual again. So if your feet itself is not dry, and it's just the sole that is dry, then that could be the cause. But if your feet itself, the skin is dry, then I'm only forced to think that it could be some kind of a circulation or nervous thing. And I don't want to go into details, but it would be good to see a reflexologist or a dermatologist.
Okay.
That is, if the feet, the actual feet, if it's just your soles, then it could be a cosmetic issue to do with the service you got with the pedicure. Yeah. You can probably help reverse back. There is a socks that you can wear at night that really helps. I'll check again and find something feet. I'll find it and send it to you. Okay. So you put it overnight, and you get up in the morning and it takes off all the hard skin. So that would be a gentler way of taking it off. So you can just avoid the pedicure for a little bit, so that aggravation would not make it worse.
Oh wow, okay. I'd like to know what kind of socks that is.
Yeah, I'll find it for you. I'll definitely send it after this. I'll have a look again and send it for you.
Oh, fantastic. Wow, it's been an enlightening evening. Thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure. I've actually enjoyed sharing with you guys.
Oh, awesome. So people, here's Malinda's number. Please, I think it's better you either take a screenshot or copy it. She's happy for you to contact her if you have any questions or, any further thing. If you remember any other thing after this meeting tonight. So please take her number down. Can I have someone put it in the chat section also? That will be helpful before we just end it tonight. So that's Malinda's number, 079 334 65855. Thank you so much, Malinda. We really appreciate you coming tonight.
Thank you so much. Have a very good evening, everyone, and I hope to see you and speak to you soon. Yes,
definitely. Just to finish off for tonight, I'd like to read out Isaiah chapter 44 and verse 4. It says, they, and this is you and I, will thrive like watered grass, like willows on a riverbank. And whatever that means, however that is being interpreted into your life, I pray